So President-elect Donald Trump has said that if American college campuses do not stamp out anti-Semitism, aka protests and gatherings that celebrate Hamas, celebrate the anti-Israel cause, call for genocide, meaning from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That's genocide. He said that if universities don't do more to stamp out anti-Semitism, if they don't stamp it out completely, then they will lose their accreditation. I want to show you a clip of him speaking recently. Have a watch.
And here's what I will do to defeat anti-Semitism and defend our Jewish citizens in America. My first week back in the Oval Office, my administration will inform every college president that if you do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they will lose their accreditation and federal taxpayer support. Thank you. Truth is, you don't have to do much after that. When you do that, it's going to work miracles. Please sit down. We will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers, and we're not going to do it certainly on American soil. We're not going to do it anywhere. Next, I will inform every educational institution in our land that if they permit violence, harassment, or threats against Jewish students, the schools will be held accountable for violations of the civil rights law. Very important. Jewish Americans must have equal protection under the law. They're going to get it. At the same time, my administration will move swiftly to restore safety for Jewish students and Jewish people on American streets.
And this clip was posted by Lee Kern, who said this is objectively, whatever your view is of President-elect Trump. And I know there's plenty of views that will be had about him. But on this issue, it's always good to specify things and to specify what your criticisms might be of him, but to specify specific things that might actually be good too. This is objectively a perfect approach to anti-Semitism and the assault on Western civilization that comes with it. You're going to have to work hard to pretend this is a bad thing if executed as described. It's the same way that some people who are anti-Trump spoke about the Abraham Accords. And they said, they found it very hard to find a way to support it. And it's like, just look at it objectively. How could anyone, especially on the progressive side, who's meant to want peace and ceasefires and all these things, shouldn't celebrate the Abraham Accords? But anyway, for those who aren't so familiar with campus anti-Semitism in America and the West, where have you been? But seriously, what we saw happening in the aftermath of October 7th was, after decades of demonization of Israel, of saying that the Palestinian cause was entirely legitimate, based on a legitimate grievance, rather than based on ideological Jew hatred, they either had to deny what happened on October 7th or celebrate it, because otherwise you'd have to stare in the mirror and think, hold on, what is it that I've been supporting all this time? But frankly, what that meant was that Jews felt threatened. And it wasn't just something that they might have felt. Jewish people were attacked, targeted, on college campuses, which is meant to be the epitome of woke acceptance and caring for the oppressed minorities. It's amazing. Amazing how anti-Semitism can mutate so brilliantly that it can survive almost anything, even if it claims to be something that wants to stop prejudice and racism. And I know that President-elect Trump met briefly with Shabbos Kestenbaum, who is a Harvard student, suing Harvard for what he and many other Harvard students experienced, which was feeling threatened and being threatened as Jewish and pro-Israel students. I want to give you the full story of what he's saying in the Jerusalem Post. This was reported literally just a few days ago. So Trump is saying to universities, stamp out anti-Semitism or lose accreditation. So this is what the Jerusalem Post reported. All American universities must end campus anti-Semitism or they will lose accreditation, President-elect Donald Trump promised during a rally against anti-Semitism in Washington. To defeat anti-Semitism and defend Jewish citizens in America, Trump said he would inform every college president if they do not end anti-Semitic propaganda, they would lose accreditation and federal support. We will not subsidize the creation of terrorist sympathizers And we're not going to do it, certainly on American soil, he said. Trump added that once in the Oval Office, he would inform all educational institutions that if they permit violence or harassment against Jewish students, they'll be held accountable for violations of the civil rights law. It's very important Jewish Americans must have equal protection under the law, and they're going to get it. Quote, at the same time, my administration will move swiftly to restore safety for Jewish students and Jewish people on American streets. In his first term as US president, Trump issued an executive order on combating anti-Semitism by adding Jews to the list of protected minority groups under Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. He also offered Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, the Republican representing New York's 21st District, the position of US ambassador to the UN. Stefanik has been one of the leading lawmakers against US campus anti-Semitism. Now, Elise Stefanik, which was a remarkable move in appointing her as American ambassador to the United Nations, she was the one that tore apart and led to several resignations of the presidents of those Ivy League colleges who said in that famous congressional hearing when asked, is calling for the genocide of Jews, aka from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, etc., etc. Or even worse, we saw protests. I saw one thing, banner that said Israelis are native to hell. Not the Israeli government, Israelis. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Can you imagine them doing that about Russia? Them saying Russians are native to hell. They never would. But the point is that she went after them, and she is tough. So the big point here, though, is that much as I believe in educating as the way to try and influence change, at the same time, sometimes you need to just lay down the law and say, if you don't do this, you're going to lose your accreditation. It's a bit like a teacher in a classroom full of students that are misbehaving. First comes respect, then you can educate and try to change opinion. You need both. And it's amazing. We're sort of seeing a lot of the students in the global classroom starting to fall into line. Look at Qatar. Qatar suddenly saying, within minutes of Trump being elected as president, whether you like him or not, he is seen as a tough, unpredictable leader of America. They suddenly said, we're no longer going to be the mediator between Israel and Hamas. It's like suddenly, when you lay down the law, the students in the classroom suddenly start to sit upright and behave themselves a bit more. I'm not saying I know what's to come in the future, but we're certainly seeing signs of that, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens on college campuses across America as President Trump enacts these kind of policies. Be very, very interesting indeed. So far in this video, I have a request for you. JTV has been having a really big impact in spreading the truth about Israel and creating positive associations with the Jewish people, Judaism, and Israel. We've really grown a lot, particularly in the last year, and we're having a really significant impact, both for Jews and non-Jews. But I really want to take JTV to the next level so we can start to compete with the other big online media beasts that are often peddling anti-Israel content. And the way we're going to do that is to scale even faster. So I'd love to build a team where we have other presenters doing shows like me, that start doing documentaries, supplementary content, animated content, etc., etc. And to do that, I'd like to build a bit of a team. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one fundraising day, just one, where we try and build up some funding in order to fund such a team. Now, to do that, it's going to obviously require people to get involved. And I'm wondering if you would consider, if you're watching JTV content and appreciate what we do and want to help partner with us in taking this to the next level and spreading the truth farther and wider than ever before, I wonder if you'd consider partnering with us simply by running a mini page on the fundraiser that we do, where you just reach out to your contacts on that day that we choose to fundraise and see if they'll all chip in. If you'd be up for doing that, of which I would be so grateful, then please click on the Google form link in the video description of this video, where you can simply just put in a few contact details. It'll be a very small commitment, as I say, literally just one day that we'll all agree upon as a collective community. But the impact is going to be so big. There's such strength in numbers. If we all pull together and do this, we can take this to the next level. And as I say, all of us can partner together in bringing and spreading the truth to the whole world. So please do consider clicking on that link, filling in the form, and I'll be in touch very soon to talk about the next steps. Small commitment, but a big impact. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.